All right, just a moment ago, Peter has been talking to Dr. Raja Bidian about the weakening of the rand as it's just about to hit the 17 rand to the dollar mark. And of course, let's get to hear what Frances had to say about this. She's my colleague, and of course, we're dealing with economic issues on a daily basis. And the trend has been that emerging currencies will be hard hit during this time of the COVID-19.
So a simple way to look at it is that some currencies, some stocks are seen as riskier. So when people are scared, they go for things that are seen as safer. Government bonds in the US, for example, even though we offer better interest rates, they go to the kind of safe spaces. Emerging market currencies are classically seen as riskier assets. So suddenly everybody's scared, so they're moving out of emerging market currencies. The rand often seen as a litmus test for this basket called emerging market currencies. It's heavily traded. People love to go in and out of the rand, foreigners. So we see an immediate reaction. And what I can tell you is that we've gone over 17 rand to the dollar again. So that happened earlier, and it's just happened again. We're at 17.03. And 17 rand to the dollar, I think, to put things into perspective, the last time we were here was in 2016, I think it was, when Nhlanhla Nene was no longer finance minister. There were a lot of ructions, and suddenly the rand shot through that 17 rand to the dollar mark. So that's why it's very significant.
Okay, so you've done that comparative analysis, but right now, what happens after the rand weakens in the market? Because I would believe that through a blink of an eye, in a blink of an eye, as a market trader, you're looking at the screens, you turn around to have your cup of coffee, and then boom, the rand has crashed.
Yeah, look, it was in trouble already since coronavirus, since we've seen carnage across world markets. So I don't think this is as surprising as it would be without the context of coronavirus hurting markets around the world. We've seen the JSE losing 7%, 8%, which is just unprecedented. You don't see that every day. So I don't think this is a complete shock, but it is significant because we're getting to levels not seen before. We're not there yet because the rand once almost hit 18 rand to the dollar. That was after Nhlanhla Nene, and it was called an Asian shock, and it seems like some trader actually put in the wrong amount, so suddenly the rand crashed almost to 18 rand to the dollar, but then it came back suddenly. So we're not there yet, but we're heading to levels not seen before. It's not surprising. We've seen the rand weaken over days. Yesterday there was a bit of a recovery. Every few days the markets feel better, people buy back, then we see the falls again. This is unfortunate because the Reserve Bank may actually cut interest rates, and it's doing all it can to shore up the economy, to make sure there's money in people's pockets once more, and that won't help either, because suddenly it makes our interest rates a little less attractive.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about this time of heightened volatility and vulnerability that there could be come before the storm, that the market direction could be either way tomorrow at this time. But don't you think this precipitation then is of the fact that tomorrow things could be worse than this?
I think it's anybody's guess right now. There are so many people trading on the rand. We often try and look at trends and say the rand is moving because of this. I think now we can say the rand is moving because of general fear. We've brought up that graph, and you can see that this is what's happened just today. So quite a significant weakening, and it's ironic, but when it goes up, it's weakening because suddenly you need more rand to buy $1. It's anybody's guess where this is going, Colin. I'm not a currency trader, and even they would say it's anybody's guess. I guess what's happening now is a reaction we might have seen had we been downgraded at this time. We might see a downgrade, and we might see the rand go weaker. But I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day.
Right, let's leave it there for now. Thank you very much for making time to pop in.
Thank you for having me.
Right, Frances heard, of course, dealing with the weakening of the rand at this moment. Let's take a break, and when we return, we deal with other cascading effects of COVID-19 onto other markets. Stay with us.